Alright, hey YouTube, in this video I'm going to be doing a follow-up to the video I did previously. So now we're going to be looking at SLI. So we're going to be looking at two Geforce GTX 1080 stock reference. People call them Founders Edition cards. So these are my two GTX 1080 Founders Edition cards, direct from Nvidia. You get them from Best Buy. If you're in the US, Best Buy is the place to get them. If you want reference cards, that's the secret. You don't have to order them off of Nvidia's website and pay all that shipping and all that stuff. Just go to Best Buy. Alright, so we're going to look at Nvidia setup. So Nvidia uses the Nvidia control panel, which looks a lot older. It looks like something from like early 2000 era, because it's like, this looks like IE6 back and forward right here. So it doesn't have any way of like recording the gameplay from this tool or from this system, or not system, I guess I should say this GUI here, this interface. So with the Radeon settings, you can enable relive, and you can just straight up record gameplay straight from the driver interface itself, or the UI interface itself. With the Nvidia one, you can't do that. You don't have the ability to do that. People are going to be like, well, why don't you go and get GeForce Experience? Well, I'm not going to download GeForce Experience. I don't use the add-on stuff, because it's like, I think that's bloatware. So I'm only going to I install the driver as is, and that's it. So this is what it comes with. So you get this, which is not bad. I will say it is functional. So you can see I've got my 3 FreeSync monitors, 144 Hz. These are the exact same monitors that were in the previous video. So the 24-inch, 144 Hz, 1440p monitors. So just, yeah. So all three of them are connected to the primary card, as you can see here in the system topology. I really like how Nvidia does this. I like just this diagram because it just makes it really easy to see how everything's set up. You also get PhysX with Nvidia. That runs on the GPU as opposed to the CPU. But you can always force the PhysX processor to run off of the CPU if you want. But the cool thing is, if you have dual GPU, you can either leave it on auto, which is what I did, or you can force it to run on the primary or the secondary GPU. Now, I recommend if you're running SLI, run it on the secondary GPU, because typically that one doesn't really do a whole lot more compared to the first one. So as you can see here, leaving it on auto, it selected the second GPU. You can see PhysX is blue, like a speech bubble thing that represents PhysX. It's encompassing the 3 displays, and then it is running off of the second GPU. And then you can see SLI is enabled, and that is enabled via the high bandwidth bridge. The high bandwidth bridge that we're using is this one, which is the stock one. So yeah. All right. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and look at the two. Well, you can do like typical stuff here, pretty much the same thing that you can do with the AMD one, minus the ability to overclock. So you cannot overclock from this tool. You can overclock with the built-in Wattman on the AMD one, and you also cannot record gameplay. You can do that on the AMD one. You can't do it on this. So you can actually manage your 3D settings. You can set your DSR factors. You can set like system overrides for like anti-aliasing for specific game titles. So all that stuff can be done in here. So it's not like it's missing a bunch of stuff. It's just missing the ability to record gameplay, and it's also missing the ability to overclock or underclock or undervolt the GPU. So Nvidia requires you to install third-party applications if you want to overclock the GPU, which isn't too bad. I'm not gonna deduct points if I'm trying to like score them objectively. But it is nice to have that feature built in. Like I showed you guys how you could set the custom, like even just the fan profile changes for the AMD one, which is really cool. So there's that functionality that is not in here, unfortunately. But one cool thing you can do here is you can set a, I found this really cool. You can actually do a show SLI visual indicator or show PhysX visual indicator. So we are in borderless windowed mode. That's how I prefer to play the game. Everything's maxed out 1440p, and you can see if we bring the GPU Z over here for the two GPUs and zoom in. So again, just like my Vega cards, one of these is older, like a year older than the other one. So this one on the left is the primary card. This is also the older card, so you can see the BIOS version is different from the newer one. This one was from 2017. I got this one in 2017 when Stormblood came out, and then I got the second one like sometime in the summer of this year, so I could do the SLI setup. The other interesting thing, so AMD's GPU clock shows like the max, or like the boost frequency, I guess. Nvidia shows you like the base when it's running 3D application 1607. Then it gives you a boost value of 1734. You can pretty much completely ignore this value because this value doesn't mean anything. I don't understand how they calculate the boost value, because like you could buy an EVGA for the win, whatever, and it could have a higher boost clock, but this Founders Edition card might boost to the exact same max boost frequency. Like this one is 1734. The EVGA might be like 1800 or something, and then they both boost to like 1800 something or even 1900 something. So it's kind of a silly. It's hard to justify buying like a more expensive Nvidia card that's in the same class, meaning like a 1080 and another 1080, or like a 1080 and a more expensive 1080. I'm not talking about like a 1080 Ti. I'm talking about just like a regular 1080. So it's weird because it's like you see like this guy over here 1607, and then the other one is like down at 11 something. So if we let's well, I gotta move these out of the way to play the game, but yeah, because otherwise it's gonna get minimized. Alright, so I start playing the game. Now the clock's gonna jump up. See, 1835. So I'm getting 1835. This is stock. There's no overclock. There's no undervolt. None of that stuff is going on here. And it's clearly boosting over the boost clock. So I don't really know how Nvidia drives that boost clock. I don't know what that means. It's just really weird. So both of my 1080 Founders Edition cards, stock, nothing on them, nothing overriding any of the settings. They can boost that high, like just straight up. So once they heat up, I believe once they heat up to like 82 Celsius, they'll start underclocking back down to like 1700, 1600, and they'll go up a little, up and down based on the temperature. So, but you can see the power consumption for both of them. One of them is using like 116 watts GPU only, and the other one is like 131. That's the primary. So it's interesting to see. The other cool thing here that I like is you can see it gives you a performance cap reason in GPU-Z. GPU-Z does this for the Nvidia cards. They show you like the performance cap reason. So they either you're usually gonna hit like, and if these things keep heating up, you're gonna eventually see THM, which basically means it's hitting the thermal limit on the cooler. And the Founders Edition cards, or the blower cards in general, are notorious for having that as a performance cap reason. But otherwise you have a voltage reliability as one of the reasons, and then it does indicate that SLI is active, so that is actually pretty cool. Alright, so the one thing to notice is that I'm running the game in borderless windowed mode, and SLI is working. So that's cool. Alright, let's full screen it and see if we get any difference. Alright, so it didn't work. Here, let's turn off the visual indicator. Yeah, we want to do 1440, let's see. Okay, well that didn't work. So, we're back. So it's not able to go to full screen. So that's a ding against Nvidia. So I'm not able to successfully go to full screen. Basically when I try going to full screen, all three monitors go black. The two side ones that are not running the game come back. Can't move the mouse. It looks like the system froze for a second, but then like you wait for the 15 seconds, then it reverts back to borderless windowed. So we'll cancel out of that. So that didn't work. So that does show there is some underlying problem with SLI or something, driver level problem, it looks like, on the Nvidia cards. So the Nvidia cards are not perfect. As you just saw, there's a problem. I cannot make the game exclusive full screen mode. Most likely what I'll probably have to do is exit the game and reopen the game, and then I hope I don't have to disable SLI to get that. But see, now there's like a whole, oh, now I gotta troubleshoot a problem that I didn't expect to see. So that is pretty bad. I'll say that's pretty bad. But on the bright side, you can run the game in borderless windowed mode, and you're still getting the SLI scaling. So that's pretty good. But that, yeah. So neither world's perfect. Regardless of which one you're going to go with dual GPU, you're going to run into some problems. I will point out that you do not have that problem with... Here, let's exit the game real quick, so I'll show you guys another thing. So just quit out of the game. And now, if we look, let's bring these guys over here. Alright, so... Now, you can see they both downclock. And we're running at 144 Hertz. I can show that here. So if we click on Advanced Display. So right here, you can see one... Okay, for some reason Nvidia shows it as 143, but in reality it's 144, because if you click on the display and you go into it and you try to max it out, it's already 144 Hertz. So AMD doesn't show that in Windows. It'll actually say 144. Nvidia says 143, which is kind of annoying. So there's something that Nvidia should look into. But other than that, you can see they downclock. This one, I don't know what it's doing. It's doing something, but it's, yeah. So one thing I noticed is the clocks tend to like jump around a lot more on the Nvidia cards when you do stuff, like random things. Like if I move this over here and move it back, like that one, I'm not sure why it's doing that. But if we close, there might be some weird process thread stuck for the SLI. So they're not perfect. You can see there's problems on both sides. Probably after watching this, nobody's going to want to set them up because they seem like they're a bunch of headaches with little positives other than making the system look really cool. Alright, so I'll show you guys what the install system looks like. So there it is. That's a mesh, so it's breathable. But yeah, so you got the two Geforce cards. You have the HB bridge right there. It lights up, and then there's my AverMedia card between the two of them. And that's basically it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. So that's the Geforce setup. And one last time, here's the Radeon setup. And as you can see, the second Radeon card has gone to sleep. You see that green light down there? It has actually gone to sleep. So the Radeon logo down there is turned off. You can't see it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.